What's up, YouTube? I just wanted to do a video response to DEMCAD's video I just watched called Not in My Prepper / Survival Group. I wanted to do a video response because I think this is an absolutely critical topic that needs to be discussed. It's kind of like the elephant in the room nobody wants to bring up. And when I saw the video, I was just really compelled to do a video response. He asked, what characteristics would you want individuals to have, or what characteristics do you not want them to have to either be in your survival group or not to be in your survival group. And like I said, I thought that was awesome because the dynamics of different personalities, the world we live in, the type of event that may cause different individuals to come together, meet each other, have to interact in some way. It's just the topic is so broad. It needs to be discussed because there's so many dynamics involved here. And I wanted to go over a few things that personally I thought were important to discuss or bring up. I wanted to answer some of his questions in his video because, it's a video response. So when he says what characteristics, what came to my mind was good morals, good values, honor, integrity, overall just a good person in general. Also, one thing I think is really important is someone who thinks before they act. Conversely, someone, characteristics that you may not, I personally wouldn't want to be in my group, would be someone who doesn't think before they act, someone who acts on emotions, who's irrational, a bully, or inconsiderate of others, pretty much immature person that hasn't grown up yet. We all have different personalities. Some people are just aggressive by nature, which is fine. Some people are shy, quiet. Some people are, in between. But being in a group is, you're gonna have to be considerate to some degree. You're gonna have to, know it's not just about you. It's not everything that you want all the time. Because you're part of the group, what you have to say should, hold some value, but at the same time, it shouldn't be all about you, everything, all the decisions, everything that you want all the time. There's going to be compromise, and that's where consideration comes into play. He addressed religion and politics, which, right now they matter to people, but depending on what happens, you could have, if it's a SHTF or without rule of law situation, I don't think that these things are going to matter. I mean, the event may change people, depending on this, how severe it is or the need, but I don't think that these are kind of things that make up your, individual preferences, and they may or may not matter. So I don't think it's important. If it's a zombie apocalypse, are people gonna care about if you're libertarian or constitutionalist or liberal or Democrat or Republican? I just don't think it's gonna matter. The religion, they're just saying, there's no atheist in a foxhole. So I don't know. But I would think people are definitely going to change, and that brings up one of the dynamics that I really wanted to discuss, and that's, I think there's two kinds of people when it comes to a survival or prepping type of mindset. There's people that if a event happened, SHTF or without rule or law event happen, there's two types of people. There's the person that would want to try to get back to the normal lifestyle, the normal way of life. And then the other type of person is the person who'd want to adapt to the event, to whatever happened, and change and never look back to what we once were. You know, we have a pretty civilized environment. You know, our country, we have rules, we have laws. You know, people are protected to some certain extent. We definitely have our own individual rights. We have freedom to a certain extent, and you know, there's boundaries that you just don't cross. That if you do cross, you get punished, and it keeps people from just going crazy. Well, in a SHTF type of scenario, those rules don't apply anymore. So individuals are either going to want to get back to there, or they're going to want to embrace the type of, you know, survival of the fittest, you know, anything goes type of situation. And, you know, that's very important to know about the people that you let into your circle or to your group. You know, I don't think it's ever going to be a good thing to get too far away from the society that we've built. You know, even if something happens and there's without rule or law, we need to get back to it somehow. You know, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And people bicker, say this isn't right, that's not right, and all. But compared to all the other countries and nations, we have it pretty good. You know, could it be better? Yeah. Could it be worse? Absolutely. So I'm the type of person that always wants to get back to what we have in a situation where there isn't rule or law. I think the people that want to, you know, kind of take advantage of the situation and just run with it and survival of the fittest and anything goes, that could be very dangerous. It can be very dangerous, and, you know, it's reckless, and, you know, I don't necessarily want to live in that type of environment for an extended period of time. I don't think many people, rational people, would want to. But you have those personalities that just, they love it. You know, it's like they were born to be in that kind of environment. And those are the types of individuals that I would stay far away from, that I would not allow anywhere near my group, and just try to avoid as much as I possibly could. Some challenges of meeting new people or just initiating new people being in your group or not being in your group could be really difficult in today's day and age. We have pretty much an antisocial society. Everybody's in their smartphones or in their computer, or you got their earbuds in, listening to music. The just face-to-face interaction is really absent in today's society, where, you know, a few decades ago, everybody knew everybody on their block, knew all their neighbors, knew their kids, knew, you know, what they were into, what they do. You know, Johnny plays basketball, Susie, you know, is on the cheerleading squad or does gymnastics or whatever. Now, it's such a busy environment where, you know, people, in a family, the father's working, the mother's working, the kids are going to school, got activity. It's, you know, even the dinner time discussions are limited nowadays. So, let alone inside the family, getting out and talking to other families and talking to other people, it's very difficult. It's a challenge because in a situation where we lost electronics, we lost the ability to tweet or text or post stuff to Facebook or Instagram or whatever, would we even have the ability, the skills to, you know, communicate anymore. Just have a discussion, a conversation about anything. How many people on your block do you know? And it's going to be a challenge to meet new people, to be able to even try to judge whether they should be in your group or not. And another difficulty is the absolute need to meet new people. Unless in your group already you have a doctor, you have a mechanic, you have a carpenter, you have a nurse, you have a plumber, you have an expert riflesman, military, Rambo type. Your group's probably not squared away, altogether. So in your group, if you have an injury that you can't fix with your supplies, what are you going to do? You're going to have to go meet new people, and against the obstacles that we have, in play, that we've been so, segregated from each other, it's going to be difficult, and on that journey, just to go find that doctor or that nurse, you may run into, a personality that you'd much rather stay away from. So it's gonna, these are some of the things that we need to consider. How well are we going to meet new people to even be able to, have any kind of analysis whether, oh, this person I think I should let in my group, or this person I definitely don't want in my group. Just the immediate baby steps of it, just getting to that point, I think is going to be a struggle. And when you run out of supplies, or there's an injury, or you can't just bunker, you can't just hide away in your bug out location forever. It's not going to work. So there's got to be some kind of human interaction post event, and we can try to judge, and we can try to make the best decisions to who's in our group, or that we can pre-event. But people change. Some people, if something happens, they're just not going to be able to handle it. They're going to freak out. And then some people, like I said, are going to be the monsters that try to take advantage of the situation. And when you step back and you look at like these YouTube comments, I read some of these YouTube comments, and people are just out of control because they say a pair of shoes they don't like. People are freaking out, talking about how they're just completely disrespectful, just monsters, and I know a lot of them are trolls. A lot of them probably aren't even real people, or paid trolls to try to influence people into getting out of character, or rile people up, or infighting and all that. And I understand that, but a lot of people have just lost their way completely. They're not good people, and they're so self-absorbed and so self-centered, so narcissistic, that they think if someone has a different opinion, that they should just tear them apart, and that they should just, that they're the worst person in the world. And that's where the consideration comes into play. We have to understand that people are different, and we have to be, considerate to other people's preferences, other people's needs, things like that. It's not all about you, and, every life, has value. Even though, the worst, the worst person in the world, they could change, they could, find their way, and that's what we all hope for. But when you're not even giving someone a chance because they might not like the same thing as you, I think that's pretty immature, and you're kind of cutting yourself short. You might, help someone grow, and in the end, ultimately have one of the best relationships with an individual that you may thought you may never had. And conversely, you may have a best friend that you thought was going to be with, beside you and 100%, and they're just going to be awesome, and they completely buckle, like fall apart. So these are all considerations that I have that I think need to be discussed. I don't hear people discuss them enough. I was really surprised when I saw, DEMCAD post that video. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a great way to open a discussion. And he's always, I think he's very intelligent. I've been watching him for a long time, and I respect him. I respect all his efforts. He's constantly learning. He's constantly trying to, better his preps, his survival mentality, and I respect him, look up to him, admire his efforts. He's a great guy. But I just think we all need to talk about this, and I'm glad that he kind of opened the floor for discussion. I welcome others to comment or leave video responses like I did, and hopefully we can talk about the elephant in the room, because I think it's better to have kind of a mindset or action plan to how we're going to handle these types of things, before it's at our front door and we're maybe didn't have time to think it over, didn't have time to discuss it at all with others, see where where their mindset's at, what they're thinking, what are some of their concerns, or if they've already hashed some of this stuff out. Great, let me know. I have no problem saying, hey, I think that's outstanding. I think that's a great way to look at it, and I'm going to use that as well. So that's what the whole purpose of this video response was. DEMCAD, I appreciate it, and as always, you decide the outcome. Don't be a patsy.